The Indianapolis Colts are getting calls about Anthony Richardson's availability in a trade. The Lions absolutely need to be one of those teams making a phone call. Let's talk about why. Hi, I'm Mike Payton with A to Z Sports Detroit, and today we're going to talk about why Anthony Richardson to the Lions makes just too much sense to ignore. First, let's start here. Obviously, Jared Goff is this team's quarterback, and he's going to continue to be this team's quarterback for quite a while. There was no doubt in anyone's mind he's playing at the top of his game right now, MVP level football, but at the same time, he's not going to be around forever. We've already seen that with Matthew Stafford. We've seen that with tons of quarterbacks around the league. Everybody can't play forever. The Lions need to have some sort of future backup plan. And right now, they do not have that. Some might say, well, what about Hendon Hooker? Well, the problem with Hooker is that he's 26 years old. When this season is over in January, he will be 27 years old. He's played very little football in the NFL. He just started getting some regular season snaps this year. The Lions really didn't do a whole lot with him in blowout games. I just don't see the future for him. The pick has never truly made sense to me, especially with the age. I've always thought drafting a quarterback, hey, that's not a bad idea. But when you get one that is 26 years old in year two and hadn't taken a snap quite yet, that's a problem. And again, he'll be 27 at the end of this year, and that's just too old. Goff is 30 years old, and if Goff plays till 34, well then Hooker's 30 years old at the end of his rookie deal, and you're going to plug him in as a 30-year-old starter. I just don't see it happening. I think he could be a serviceable backup. I think he could be a great backup, probably one of the best backups in the league. In terms of being a starter or a franchise quarterback, I just don't see that for Hooker right now, and I don't know if I ever will see that for Hooker. But what I do see is Anthony Richardson is 22 years old. This is a guy who is the same age as some of the kids that are going to be coming out in next year's draft. He's one of the youngest quarterbacks in the league. And yeah, it has not worked out in Indianapolis. And I think that's the Colts' fault mostly. I know a lot of people will say, hey, look, he tapped out of a game the other day. I know fans, especially Lions fans and football fans really in general, they look at that moment and they kind of say, well, he quit on his team. But his teammates don't echo that sentiment. Coaches around the league don't echo that sentiment. NFL execs are not saying that that's what's happening. A lot of teams are trying to trade for this kid right now, and a lot of people believe that the Colts really kind of preemptively gave up on him. Probably shouldn't have done it as fast as they did. This is a guy that is still pretty young, still developing. Even at Florida, he was still kind of a developing quarterback. He needs time, and I think the Lions have everything that you could possibly need for a young quarterback to develop over time. They've got Mark Brunell, one of the best quarterback coaches in the league. They've got Ben Johnson, who knows? Maybe he's here next year. Maybe he goes. Even if he doesn't, there's Tanner Engstrand, who is going to obviously be his heir to the throne, if you will, at the OC. And then they've got Dan Campbell, the best head coach, one of the best head coaches. Let's just say it, the best head coach in the NFL right now. These are the guys that came together to resurrect Jared Goff's career when he was supposed to be just gone and done and just supposed to be somebody who was going to hold a place until the Lions drafted a new quarterback and replaced him. If you don't have faith in this team being able to do that again with another quarterback, then I don't know what to tell you, because I do. I think that they absolutely could do that. And here's a guy who's 22 years old. Again, if Goff was to walk away at 34, or if it's proof, like just like everybody else, that he ages and eventually he's not as good as he once was in 2027, 2028, well, then you've got a 25 or 26-year-old Anthony Richardson right there to replace him. You don't have to use a high draft pick on a quarterback in the future. You've spent time developing him. You know what he can be. You know what he is at that time. And I would bet you bottom dollar that he's actually going to work out when they eventually do put him in. So I know a lot of Lions fans might look at this video or look at the article that we put out yesterday on this very same topic and think, well, what is Mike talking about? He's crazy. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Again, I think it makes more sense than it could possibly ever make. I just don't see the Lions using a high draft pick for a quarterback anytime soon. But if they were able to trade like a fourth or a third round pick to get Richardson in here, and they don't have to do it at the deadline, but they can do it after the year, then you are looking at a guy that they could work on for the next couple of years, possibly the future of the Lions. And if this Lions team has talked about sustained success a ton of times, and you cannot have sustained success without a plan for the future, and this would be a very good one. So let me know what your thoughts are, and we will see you guys next time.